Alrighty then, so welcome to the new setup idea. Camera, yeah, I'm sure I will get it adjusted at some point to be a little bit better, but for right now, focus is on the food, not me. Me's the other channel. So, I already did this recipe a short time ago, and hopefully I'll remember to edit together and maybe put it in a unlisted video. But I wasn't exactly happy how it turned out, so I'm gonna do it again, and this time hopefully do it a little bit better. Now, I also will say that a lot of the videos I do are usually the first time I'm doing these recipes, so that's why they usually kind of like seem a little odd or off or something like that. But for this one, this is a second time doing it, so hopefully, knock on wood, it turns out a little bit better. Now, the recipe is from the official Dragon Age cookbook. Pardon all these tabs. And it's the Grey Warden pastry pockets. And I mean, they're really simple for what I imagine the Grey Wardens would probably use on their travels, or because they are traveling so much, it will be something really easy they can do on the go, minus it chilling. But the ingredients are two separate ones. The dough is scant 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 3/4 cup or 1/2 stick of cold butter. The filling is 18 ounces of lean ground beef, 1 medium potato diced, 1 medium onion diced, and a tablespoon of salt. Now, another confession, the first time I did this, I actually used Angus steak burgers, so it was a lot more flavorful. I would imagine that this is not one of those very flavorful type of dishes, and I will be adding some simple salt, garlic, and pepper to the meat just because I like to have that little bit of flavor to it. But other than that, let's get started. 2 cups of flour. Shifted into a bowl. Teaspoon of salt. I'll just set this aside. Don't start meowing. If you start hearing meowing, I'm sorry. Probably step away to put her in her room. But it says to add enough water to work the dough. Add just enough cold water that you can work with the ingredients, still using the knife, into a dough firm enough to roll out. Now, I think last time I just poured it in, but I don't know why it says to use the knife to do this. Perfectly decent hands to work with. So, what we're gonna do is a little bit of water at a time. I think another cool thing about this new setup is now that I'm not limited to the counter behind me, gives me more room to work with. And I know it doesn't look like it, but this actually is a lot better. So, what's we do with gel? As you know, that's way too wet. I'm far too wet. Let's see what I have. Yes, that's what we do. That's a little bit hard. Alright, so move the water. Move the book. So now that we have to roll the glue out as flat as possible, put a little bit of flour down here so we don't get it all nice and sticky. Like I said, I think this should work. If not, this flour will definitely absorb. Get a little bit better. Bring out a good old-fashioned rolling pin. Wire this up. Last time this kind of stuck. It says to roll it out as flat as possible. Flip this over. And the one thing I noticed with working with chunks of butter like this is they tend to stay in. Last time, because it was all warm, didn't necessarily stay. I don't know how well you guys can see. Let me try zooming in without closing the video. You can see the butter chunks like right here, so not 100% sure if that's what's supposed to happen or not. And there we go. Okay. Yeah, that's good enough. Alright, as flat as possible without it tearing all over the place. That would be the oven, setting up to 400, which is actually the next step, but I always like to warm up the ovens beforehand. I'm just going to put a little bit of flour down here. Alright, and now, let's see, it says fold the sides towards the middle and fold again. So, sides towards the middle. So, this might confuse me. So it was flat on there, but I'm gonna assume it's supposed to be a dough ball similar to this. I don't know. We'll find out. I'm gonna put it back on the tray because it says to refrigerate for a few minutes. That's what we're gonna do. Right, so next step. 18 ounces, is it 18 ounces? Yes, 18 ounces of meat. You know what? We're gonna do this. Try to be precise, and the scale doesn't want to work with me. So now we dice our onion and a potato. It doesn't say 5 dice or anything like that, so I imagine any way you want to dice them. Will be perfect. Fine. And yes, I know there's a knuckle technique for cutting. I never really felt comfortable with that one, and I am also aware that the way I do it isn't exactly the safest method unless you're wearing a glove, which I am not. So Or not.
You do you.
This is where I'm going to add my SPG. No, it's not going to be a whole lot. Alright, so I guess something like this. Alright, so here's where it gets a little tricky. Roll out the chilled dough as flat as possible and using a small sharp knife trace the edge of a smaller plate or bowl to form circles about 4 and 3/4 to 6 inches in size. Make sure the dough stays cool as possible in the process and be sure not to pull or stretch it. Now, that in itself isn't the hard part. For me, it was the putting in the filling in. When the dough is evenly on the pan you're going to use to cook, you put 1 to 2 tablespoons of the filling in the center of each. Now, I did miss this next line because I was being silly. Moisten the edges of the dough with a bit of water and fold inward around the sides. Now, here's the picture of what they're supposed to look like. So, mine didn't look anything like that. Mine, the meat was out all the way, like sticking out, and it wasn't sealed in. So, that's one of the parts I was not happy with my last time. I am going to try it again, obviously. And hopefully, it works out better. But we shall see. So I'm going to use the same pan because it's already oven ready. So let's roll this back out.
And do it. Drink out of the dough. So this is what I want to get.
Now, got my knife. And whoop. There we go. I already measured this before. Let's say it is a prep bowl or serving bowl, whatever. But it is about 6 inches in size. So we're just gonna cut around. A teaspoon or a tablespoon. Well, you'll also notice when I do a tablespoon, that's as much filling as I get. It's a lot of potato. So do about 1.5.
I do this more. It's a lot of potato. This. Or onion. No, that's more.
And moisten the edges. Let's see if I can get this closed this time. right. It's a lot better than the first attempt I did. So, with that done, as soon as your oven is up to 400, this is going to take about 30 to 40 minutes, or as the book says, until the dough begins to brown. So, we're going to go for 30 to 40 minutes. Alexa, set timer for 30 minutes.
30-minute timer started.
So, I'll be coming back in 30 minutes. And they opened! Yay! Not as bad as last time, but it didn't stay sealed, obviously. Oven off. But yes, this is my second attempt at the Warden pastry pockets. These are a little bit better than last time, but always room for improvement. But yes, let these cool for a little bit. They can be enjoyed warm as is, or they are actually fairly good even when cooled the next day. And they're, I mean, obviously filling because it's in pastries, but they are very enjoyable and semi-easy to make. I make it seem a little more difficult than probably what it is, but with that, I thank you guys for listening and watching, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.